You should have been told this call's being recorded, right? All right. Okay. Let's get into screen share. Here we go. So question of the hour, right? Why is my animal, your animal, companion in your life? So there's this paragraph above is straight from the website. And it talks about how animals get merit, how we alleviate their suffering. And most of the time, we talked about this last week, most of the time people assume that they think or they have the same kind of contracts as we do, which is not necessarily true. So you just want to kind of keep that in mind and see if you can separate that, which was part of our conversation from last time, is that they think differently. They think in pictures, for example. So your image of what they're thinking and how they're feeling might not match. And that goes along with why are they in your life? So we're going to do 3 pieces. This is my theory. And so if you have a piece of paper and pencil, you're going to find that handy. If you don't, hold your hand up if you don't, or say something, and I'll wait before I go because I want everybody to participate. Okay. So the first part is your lessons. Okay, that's a really important piece. I want you to think about what is your path and purpose. Just take a moment. What is your life about? What's your purpose? Like, what are you doing? And this is the big question. It's not the little question of path and purpose. So, if I was saying I'm an occupational therapist, that's not necessarily my path and purpose. But definitely my path is about healing. And then I believe my purpose is to teach what I know, share what I know, that kind of, so that I can empower people. So in essence, that's the way my healing work would play out. Okay. So does anybody have a question or a thought about that? You can unmute yourself and just speak up if you think that, oh yes, I definitely know what my path and purpose is.
I don't.
You don't?
I'm going to say I don't. I'm really not sure.
Oh, okay.
I feel the same way. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Even though a lot of healing, I'm still not what I do. What purpose
do you do healing work?
Yes.
Okay. So, but you don't know if that's your path and purpose. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And that's the same with you, Angelique?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? No other thoughts or?
Well, I guess for me, as you know, Cindy, probably I feel my path is to heal and help animals. And then my purpose is to help educate others on how they can help animals, or, what they can do to, help. Yeah.
So it would be healing and teaching, but it's in the area very specifically with animals.
Yeah, I feel
And that
so.
feels clear?
Yeah,
Cool. That's great.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Anybody else?
Healing and teaching, but also in a sense of companioning.
Innocence of companion.
Because there are things, I see some patients with chronic illnesses, and there's there's no magic cure for example, ALS.
Mm-hmm.
So it's healing and teaching, but it's also being with someone.
Mm.
And that's, presence as healing.
So then this is just me taking what you just said to a little bit of a higher vibration, if you will, is that maybe it is about your path and purpose is to cultivate your presence.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's is being the best person possible so you can hold space for their healing, for their teaching, for their companion, for listening.
Yeah, there were, Diane Connolly. There's, I forget which, I've read all her books and I forget which book it was, but she talked about herself as the needle in a situation, and that rang true then, and it still
there you go.
rings true now. As an acupuncturist, I have needles, but I am also the needle in a situation.
So then the sense of it being your presence is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carolyn Miss, she said this in one of her audios that it just rings into my head all the time, is that what if your path and purpose on this planet is to be the best possible person you can possibly be? What if that's, quote, your only job? That's a big job, right?
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
Many times we think, oh, it should be about blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah. Okay? So I just want to stimulate you thinking about this. Path and purpose. Why are you on the planet? What is your reason? So that's a really important question, because then the next one is what is your superpowers? What are you really good at? And I don't mean, I don't mean that you have to be really good at something, but you have an awareness of something that makes you feel great, and you know that it's something you excel at because either people tell you this, or you can know that the light in you just goes pop. So I'm going to use myself as an example again, but I'm going to want you to write down on your piece of paper before I use myself as an example. What are your superpowers? Usually it's 1 or 2 items. It's not 14, right? It's just like Anne Marie, right?
Mary. But
No, I was going to say it was you that was using the example of presence, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the idea of the superpower is that we want to make sure we're taking it to a high enough vibration that that's 1 or 2 items. It's not. And so now I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm told that I'm really good with energy. I have an awareness. I thought everybody had it. And so I would consider that my awareness of energy to be a superpower. But the other piece about it, and this comes from being an occupational therapist, is that I have a really good task analysis. I break it down, hopefully, to help other people understand. So those would be, so now we looked at path and purpose, healing and teaching. And now I'm breaking it down and saying, what is really the key here? Is that I have this superpower and this superpower. And that makes those two, teaching and treating, pop. Okay.
Yep.
So what are your superpowers?
Okay, I'll go.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if you remember, Cindy, but I'm also a Reiki master, and I do a lot of the healing. I'm also a massage therapist, which I do to make people feel better, but I also make them look better because I'm also been a hairdresser for 36 years. So it's, you kind of get into, you're trying to make your clients feel the best they can feel, both physically and emotionally and mentally at the same time. I don't know if that's specific to what you were saying, but all right, is that what you were trying to say?
Well, actually, I'm going to take what you're saying and I'm going to see if I understand.
Okay.
You help people find that feeling of good or happy. You help them find that, whether it's through your healing work, whether it's through the hairdresser work, whether it's through massage.
Yes.
You help them.
Yes.
They find the happy in them.
Yeah. And that's what I think.
You've been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that sounds like a superpower. Cool. How about anybody else? Superpowers. We're looking for superpowers.
I guess for me, definitely listening.
Hmm.
And then many people, like my family and friends, have told me, like, just kind of holding space for whatever.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listening. That's a really great superpower. And then holding space. Those are great.
Yeah.
I think you got that. Good. Anybody else?
I think I'm sensitive to other people's energy, and I'm empathetic.
Mm-hmm. So the superpower is the Valerica. There she is. So the superpower would be the empathic nature of you.
Okay.
So, right?
Mhm.
Because you're picking up on what's going on out here, and through that, you don't quite know what you're doing with it, path
Right.
and purpose, but
Yeah.
you know that that's a real thing for you.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Superpowers. We're looking for our superpower people. Everybody has them. Okay.
Maybe we're not all as confident in thinking that we don't have a superpower, but we actually do somewhere in us.
Absolutely. Everybody does. The thing that we do in our society is that we, I'm going to say it for false modesty, because we don't want to be bragging. Bragging's
Right.
not cool.
Mhm.
But if it's true, if this is really true, then it helps, right? It helps you to be on your path and purpose. Okay. So so you want to think about, again, it was Carolyn Misses, one of her stuff is she said, what if you minimized whatever your gift is? And so I'm using the word superpower. She goes, if you believe in God, what are you telling God oh, I know you gave me this special thing, but it's really not that big of a deal. She was like, how do you think God's going to feel? When she said that, I was like, okay, I get it. I get the definition of, is this really something I'm good at? And am I bragging? Or is it just true? So I'm just inviting you to think about that. Okay? And now let's look at what are your challenges? And again, no list. Usually we have a fundamental one. So I'm going to use myself as an example again. I'm really good about energy, but of course, what is it that I want? Our healing, right? I like doing all that stuff. But what do I want? I want it now. I want to help that person now. I want to fix it now. So patience would be a little bit of a challenge for me. That's a challenge. I have to remind myself, okay, in divine time, go with flow, all these things. So that would be one of my challenges. So just think for a moment and see what you think. No list, because you're going to want to take it up to find what is really the challenge. What are you learning in this life? You write it on your piece of paper. Okay. Anybody got their challenge?
I can go, Sydney.
Uh-huh.
Thank you very much for letting me in after I signed out by mistake. And hello, everybody. I'm at work and I'm not going to be participating too much. But anyway, my challenge is, although I am a good listener, sometimes I jump in and give an advice without allowing the other person to finish and go over whatever challenge they have completely until maybe they can find the solution. So that's my biggest challenge for as long as I can remember.
So could you simplify that? Is it like you want to rescue them or you?
Exactly, yes. I see
So-
the solution, I give them the advice, let's do it.
Right. I've told you, just get going.
Yes.
Right. Very good. That's a really great insight.
Thank
So
you.
that would be your challenge for this lifetime.
Yes, and
Okay.
if you don't mind me going back a couple of minutes, I really appreciate the comment you made from that lady with the fact that the purpose in life could be just to be the best you can be. Because for me, it's like I'm 62 years old and I still don't know what my purpose is in life. You know, by the definition or by the expectation of everybody that, oh, what's your purpose in life? I still don't know. Because life brings so many things that I'm trying to, and I think I am doing the best I can to go through life with helping others in the meantime and all of that. So thank you. I really appreciate that. Was a eye-opening and a mind-opening.
Right. It could be that simple, right? That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else on what's your challenge? We have patience and rescue.
Boundaries.
Boundaries. Uh-huh. That's your challenge. Mm-hmm. That's a tough one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with being an empath.
Yeah.
Good realization. Anybody else? Okay.
Oops, sorry.
No, that's good. I just want to give everybody as much time as possible.
Okay. No, my challenge is definitely that, I want to save or rescue everyone and everything, and realizing that, can't always do that.
Right. You and Valerica, you get to go into the rescuer corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. But it sounds like, right, the two of you have two different sides of rescue,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
She's going to give them advice and tell them how to do it, and you're just going to go in and rescue. You're just like,
Right.
I'm going to just save you,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good to know these things, right? That's really great. All right. Now let's move into the animal companions. So I'm assuming everybody has animals or knows an animal that they want. What is that animal's path and purpose? Just in general. So some of you know my dog, Mickey. He was with me for 16 and a half years. He was in my office for many years. He was the most amazing dog. But his biggest path and purpose for me was very different than what I thought it was. And I didn't really discover it until he was done. You know, he passed. So you want to really think about, what is that animal in your life for? What is it that they teach you every day? That's a big question, right? So just throw down some words. Nobody else is going to know what you wrote. It should be something pretty simple. And then I'm going to just share what Mickey's teaching was for me, was unconditional love. He loved everybody. He was Mr. Friendly. He would, he was a little 17-pound mix. He was just, his little butt would sway right out there and go meet everybody. Of course, it helped if you had a treat in your hand, because he was very food. But that was his, physical part. But he taught me to accept. He taught me unconditional love. And that's what I realized when he passed, is that I missed that. So his path and purpose on the planet and with me, all of it was this unconditional love, that goes really nicely, right, with my path and purpose. So if I'm unconditionally loving everybody that I work with and I teach, one of the things that you learn is acceptance. Right? You see how it goes through that? So think about your animal, path and purpose, and then take it down to that next place and go, okay, what's their superpower? What's their superpower? What is it about that animal in your life and for them that they are so good at?
Well, I'll tell you, I've gotten a lot more gray hair since this dog was rescued. I think his purpose was to give me gray hair.
Well, that would be, let's take it up a higher vibration. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, but it usually the ones that give us the gray hairs are our teachers, right? My son is a teacher. My mother is a teacher.
Again, like what you just said, it goes against, and it goes with healing, helping, where I adopted him from, when I went to Aruba, I donated my time, which nobody in their right mind goes to Aruba on vacation and goes to the dog shelter to help out.
I don't know.
So I adopted him from there to save him. Like you were just saying, it goes in hand with whatever it is you're looking to do. Help.
Right. And so what is his superpower for you? What is he really good at? Not his challenge, but what's his superpower?
I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know yet.
Okay. That's a good question to keep asking, because it's like whatever your superpower is, what would it look like, that same superpower in your dog, for instance? Yeah, it's good. Who else with their superpowers?
Cindy?
Yeah? Whoever said that.
I don't actually have a pet.
Oh, right.
I go for walks and I see what comes up. And it's a suburban neighborhood. And I often will see rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
And I think of them not with the rabbit foot idea, but just seeing them. I see a rabbit, it's going to be a good day. There was one day, and I'll see one or two or three. It was one day my son called. I was afraid he's a musician. He was afraid he'd broken his finger a week before his senior recital. Not a good thing. And I said, I'm going to go for a walk and I'll see what the rabbits tell me. I saw 6 rabbits.
Mm-hmm.
Never saw 6 before. So I called him and I said, I just saw 6 rabbits. Your finger's fine.
Interesting. Yeah,
And it was.
there you go.
So
you're looking at the superpower of the animals as their wisdom. Like they're showing you this wisdom, and for you, the rabbit means this. That's their superpower.
it's sort of developed over, a number of years that that these rabbits, because it's so random, the number of rabbits and the yards that I see them in, and you see more at sunrise, sunset, but sometimes in the middle of the day, it's just so random.
Well, to you, it's random.
Well, yeah.
To the energy or the nature, there's no accidents.
Right. So when, and I'd only seen the 6 rabbits once. So
Cool.
Last week, 3 times when I went for a walk, I saw 7. Because I've been wrestling with some work stuff.
There you go.
And the third day, not only were there 7 rabbits, but I had a butterfly come right at me. Like, look at me, look at me.
Uh-huh. And what does a butterfly mean to you? What's the superpower of a butterfly?
That's rebirth. New.
That's right.
Time to do, it's time for renewal.
Yeah, there you go.
And the fact that there are 7 rabbits 3 times in 1 week says what I'm doing, like I'm on the right path.
There you go, confirmation. So the superpower is the wisdom of the animals.
Yeah.
But what's your challenge? I mean, everybody wants to be looking at the challenge, but since you're talking, I would love to hear what you think the challenge is for you.
Overthinking, the basic analysis paralysis.
Well, I was wondering if it's for the animals, are you listening? Again, that word listening. It's like, are you being present with the people? And now the animals are being present with you, but are you listening to them?
After the third 7 rabbit day, I'm like, okay, I get the message.
There you go. But your challenge is that, right? It's like, okay, what are they trying to tell me? Can I understand?
Right.
Good job. That's really good. So Mickey's challenge by dog, for instance, his was also patience. It was very interesting because when he decided it was time to eat, you know, he would follow me around, hoping I dropped something in the kitchen. I mean, he wanted it now. And I was like, wow. Anybody else? Superpowers with your challenges for the animal.
Cindy,
Yeah.
I just want to go back a bit because I feel that my superpower is unconditional love, but it's also my challenge. So a year ago, my beloved cat felt that he had finished teaching me what he needed to teach me, and he left.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent us another cat that is also an orange cat. And he has told me that this cat doesn't want to be touched, but he absolutely wants to be around us all the time. And that this cat he picked out for me. This new one, Finnegan, is here to teach me, and I do have trouble figuring that out, but I do talk to him. And he said that in 2 years, he will be comfortable with that. So I feel that
Mm-hmm.
he is teaching me patience and acceptance of him or anyone on their own terms.
So I don't know that I would say, but you could if you wanted, that your challenge is love. It feels more like it, you know, the unconditional love, it feels more like it's about acceptance of whatever's going on,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And kind of like Anne Marie's just saying, listening, you know, listening to what they're saying to you and being able to interpret it, which that's what we talked a bit about last time, is that it's like learning another foreign language, right?
Yeah.
You know, when you got to learn how cat speak is, or dog speak, or horse speak, or so you can see, you know, and the reason I break this down is I want you to look at what you've got going on, whatever your path and purpose is, whether you know it or not, but your superpowers and your challenges, and then the animals that are in your life or you run into. What is their path and purpose? What is their superpower? And what is their challenge? Okay, right? So you get the idea. And then when you get down to this last bit of the handout, it's understanding karma, contracts, and agreements. So karma is a big topic. And I, of course, try very hard to make it very simple. Leftover energy. So you have an interaction with somebody in this lifetime, and you're still ruminating over it. That rumination is the leftover energy. It could be positive or negative, doesn't matter. It's leftover energy. Okay? If it's in past lives or, you know, any of the other ways, it's an influencer. So, you know, if the animal shows up in your life, you're like, no, I'm not getting it. I mean, I have 5 cats. I was like, no, I'm not getting all these cats. And of course, I ended up with 5 cats. I was supposed to have them, but that was, you know, me having cats instead of dogs, things like that. I had both. It's just leftover energy. And then me being able to manage 5 cats, organize 5 cats, get a flow of 5 cats. It's very different than 1 or 2, right? So you're looking at the karma. What is the karma? So I'm going to talk a little more about it after I go to contracts and agreements. So an agreement or a contract is between two souls or two spirits. And depending upon the literature that you read, the word spirit can be used or the word soul can be used. And what I'm meaning when I say spirit or soul is I mean it's the core of you, the unchangeable, the spark of the divine, the essence of God, whatever phrase feels right to you. I'm not religious. These are all words that I've come up with for the energy of my experience of what a soul or a spirit is, okay? So two spirits or two souls say, in the big boardroom in the sky, I'm going to come into your life and I'm going to help you learn unconditional love. It may not look like that because I'm going to pee on the floor, right? I'm going to eat your favorite pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Right? That you don't know, but what I'm going to challenge you to do is to love me anyway. Be able to correct me in a way that's loving. So that's the agreement. The animal comes in to teach you, even though they may be badly behaved, they may be demanding something of you. I didn't hear the question. I'm going to change my internet and see if that helped. See if I can stabilize it a little bit. Okay, let's see what that does. All right, so someone asked a question. No?
I think it was some feedback, Cindy.
Okay, good. Thank you, dear. So the idea that you're looking at when it comes to why is this animal in your life, first you're looking at what do I need to learn? What's my lessons? And then what are they magnifying for me? What is it that they teach me to pay attention to? Because their lesson may not be your lesson, but they also could be compatible, like Mickey, my puppy. You know, to be working in the healing world, you have to be able to recognize when people need help. So that could be, you know, the sensitivity that I have, but it's really about being accepting of all the things that come on, you know, Lulu yesterday, Susan, right? Here we are, I'm trying to stabilize my internet. I bring my laptop into the kitchen because I was trying to find a good signal, and Lulu, my cat, who's tenacious, is walking all around my laptop. You could see, kept seeing her tail, she's rubbing the, like, but why is she doing
I
that?
noticed you changed locations after lunch yesterday. Was she part of it?
No, what was going on, I was trying to find a better signal in the house. So I went downstairs, I went upstairs, but I got in the kitchen and it stabilized in the kitchen. And of course, Lulu's like, woo, energy. Let me stir it up for her. Because Lulu's job is to test my patience. She's a really good teacher. Profoundly. Because she's like half human. She watches you when you eat, and she just watches you go up, and then she watches you go down with your fork, and then she watches you put it to your mouth, and she's a little freaky. But she did that She started circling my laptop. It was like, what are you doing? So her teaching for me is patience. And what was my challenge? Patience. So this is why Lulu's in my life. Her superpower is she's observable. Like she watches everything. She misses nothing. She probably came to my laptop because she noticed that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to give a workshop and my signal keeps going out. Oh no. And then she comes in to say, yeah, get over it, basically, right? I don't have any control over the signal. So when you ask yourself the question now, you've got these three components, right? Here's your story. Here's the animal's story. And then this is karma and contracts. So the idea that, you know, Mickey came in to help me with this one piece, and Lulu's here to teach me this piece. You know, and that's what each one of the animals will teach you, different aspects of the lessons you're trying to learn. So I work a lot with animals, and I have 5 different cats. I can't say any one of them is the same. And each one of them teaches me something different. So questions about that idea of why the animal's in your life?
So with mine, I think Buddy's my cat. I think he's in to teach me boundaries. And that is my challenge anyway, but I think that's what his role is. He sets very clear boundaries. But he also tries to cross mine. I feel like his challenge may be relaxing some of his boundaries. But does that feel accurate to you?
Yeah, that all sounds perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, one of his superpowers is he's really smart.
Mm.
He's a very intelligent animal.
Mm. Yeah.
He's got your number. There's no doubt.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So his superpower is he's got you.
Yeah.
Crystal clear. Yep. So then you're looking at, you know, sometimes your relationship with the animal is weighted one way or another. Let's say you got the animal when you had a loss, right? And so you're in a state of grieving and you get this animal. Now, if this animal has karma with you, they're going to challenge you one way or the other. That karma could be that they are support while you're grieving. That could be the leftover. Or it could be like a buddy, push all your boundaries.
Mm.
Like get on with the healing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that would be an example of what Buddy's not going to let you do. It's just sit.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's not.
But that's, you know, so you pay attention to the things that irritate you because that's probably part of the teaching.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And the funny thing is like Lulu, who she's also not patient.
Okay.
So it's like very funny to have Mickey wasn't patient. Patience is one of my challenges, you know, and then here's Lulu who, when I'm cooking, she's up on my island. What at my stove is right there. And she's like, rah, 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 rah. It's like, shush. Right? So you just pay attention to what your challenge is, what your superpowers are, what the animals are. And this is when you say, okay, well, it's a little stronger than just this.
Mm.
You know, whatever that is. Boundaries. That's a great example. Or rescuing. Those are great examples. So it's like, what is the animal really pushing my button on? Because that's the teaching.
Yeah.
This is why the animal's in your life.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's like I listen to some of y'all's examples and I go, oh yeah, it's crystal clear to me. But of course, you know, when the animals, my animals are sitting in front of me, it doesn't feel very crystal clear.
It's funny. It just occurred to me that our children do the same thing.
Those darn teachers are everywhere.
Yep.
Yep.
Even though they're 30 years old.
Oh yeah. Just it. I watch Cesar Millan, you know, the dog whisperer, and he says this one thing over and over. You get the dog you need, not the dog you want. And I was like, that's pretty much like life. He just summed up life. You get the relationships, you get the children, you get the parents, you get the animals, you get the situations, and all of them are about what you need, not what you want.
Right. It's all teaching. If you're open to that.
Right. It's the listening and interpreting what is nature trying to tell you, what's that situation trying to tell you. Yeah. And when you understand it, it's like there's more ease within you, more acceptance, which I think, Susan, that you said that was really great. Oliver and Finnegan, I think they're tag teaming you. So, but that's their job, right? This is what they've agreed to do on a soul spirit level. And most of them are really good at what they do because they can't just come into, you know, the average person. They're going to come into you who is evolving at this place, and they're going to go, okay, we're bumping it up. We're going to take the challenge another level.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, how did I get this dog? How did I get the cat? Uh-huh.
How and why?
Huh?
How and why?
And I would say you handpicked them. Some part of you knew the answer. Some part of you knew, okay, this is a good teacher. You're like, what was I thinking? Right?
Absolutely. I totally agree. I definitely asked myself that question. I promised I would never get another dog or anything. And then I turned around and, you know, 7 months later, I have another dog who is a little bit more feisty than, I think he's actually a mirror image sometimes I think of me because I'm very feisty myself. So I think that he's.
Yep. If he's a mirror, he's a teacher. So may the force be with you.
Oh, I'm going to need it with this one, I think.
Usually the big teachers are the ones that you go, you know, this person makes me crazy. This animal makes me crazy. This situation makes me crazy. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do. And that's the teaching. It's like sitting back, relaxing, listening, paying attention to all in the energy world, I call them the string of pearls. The pearls are wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
You're following that string to the root, to the clasps, to the lesson, whatever it is, but it's the string of pearls. What's all the wisdoms that you learn from the animal? And usually you get it, but sometimes you get it while they're present with you. Sometimes you don't get it until they pass, you know, but it's all about listening.
So Cindy, I've been working on setting the boundaries with Buddy and trying to use the communication strategies we learned last week. Can he understand first, then, or first, next? Like, so he wants to go out into his little patio sometimes. And so I'll try and picture, no, you know, not now. I have to go take a shower first and then you can go out. So I picture shower, then out. Does he get that or no? Is that too complex?
It's, you know, it depends upon the species, but I would say no. Time, they're pretty much in the present moment.
Yeah, okay.
So if you just say no,
Okay.
as he knows that you're listening to him, he will trust that you heard him.
Okay, all right.
Because no offense to him, his world is dependent upon your decisions.
Yeah.
But the thing he's going to look for the most from you is the cohesiveness inside and out. If you're going to have boundaries with him, do you have boundaries with yourself?
Yeah.
And if you don't, it's going to be probably a little special that day. So, yeah.
Okay.
So any other questions around why is the animal in your life? I didn't answer the question directly. I gave you lots of things to think about. That was really, because that's how complex it actually is. Any other questions? Beautiful.
I can make a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
So in the last 3 months, because of the COVID-19, I didn't work, and I met my ex-husband's husky, who is unbelievably energetic. But I was working because I started a garden there, and I got poison ivy.
Oh,
And he just came out of nowhere. I mean, he just came, this dog just came and started licking my wounds. And at the beginning, I was like, get out of here, let me alone, leave me alone. And then I said, oh no, come back, please. And I allowed him to lick the wounds, and it was really bad what I had. The next day, it was half healed. It was unbelievable. So I think what he helped me with was the trust the instinct, because he instinctively knew I was hurting and just came and started to help me out. And I have instances when I don't trust my instinct.
right.
So I think that's his purpose, to teach me to trust my instinct.
Right. I think that that's beautiful. And that's the thing, is that sometimes people, animals, situations show up in your life, and they show up a reason, season, and a lifetime. So sometimes it's one person, one time, one animal, one time, and then season can be, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. And then you have lifetime. It's the person, the animal, you haven't seen them in a while, and they don't forget you.
And it also was like love at first sight. And he's my ex-husband's dog and his ex-girlfriend's dog. So, but he doesn't react the way he reacts to me, to them.
Right.
So my ex-husband said, you have to stop coming because I'm jealous. The way this dog is acting. The last time I saw him a couple of days ago, he was actually so excited that I thought he's going to have a heart attack. Honestly, it was unbelievable.
Because he likes all that energy.
Yeah, he likes that energy, and he likes me, so we get along really well.
Right.
It's very interesting.
Right. And when you pay attention to those kinds of things, that's the communication, right? It's, my husband says the same thing to me. He goes, I try to interact with the cats, I'm chopped liver. You walk out of your office and they're all waiting for you. And when you sit down, you have 4 sitting on you, because Joy doesn't like to share. So Joy only sits in my lap if she's the only one. Right?
Yeah, it's
Just
amazing.
you pay attention to the energy, and then what are they teaching you? And there's your answer, why they're there.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. Any other questions for today? Okay, I want to send a silent prayer for internet gods to fix my internet, okay? If everyone could just say a little prayer for me, because it's been going on for weeks. So, and then I can send all my, all the stuff. All right, well, I'll see you guys next week let's see. I think everybody,
I don't know if I'm signed up, but I'll sign up as soon as we get off.
oh, well, I'll just put your name on here and then I'll send you the invite.
Perfect.
Easy.
Yeah, I think I'm on next week too.
Yeah, I think everybody, yes, yes. Judy, Anne Marie, yep, Shannon, Valerica, Julia, Susan, do you want to come next week? Can you do?
Cindy, I'll have the kids. This was just a very special day that I don't have them, but if I can, get the
Eventually.
eventually, we would greatly appreciate. I want them all. I wish we could come on Mondays, but
Okay. All righty. So now we got, and Susan. All right.
thank you so much.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Be well.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.